Hello fellow FODMAPers, it's Megan Marie from WoodyandMarie.com. This is the last video in our series about IBS and the Low FODMAP diet. In our last two videos, we answered the questions, what is IBS and what are FODMAPs? So be sure to go back and watch those if you haven't already. Today we're going to talk about the Low FODMAP diet as a treatment for IBS. Thanks to Monash University in Australia and their research on how diet affects IBS, we now have the Low FODMAP diet. To recap from last week, people with IBS have a really hard time breaking down certain types of carbohydrates termed FODMAPs. Following a low FODMAP diet means keeping your serving sizes of foods that contain FODMAPs low. For many people following the low FODMAP diet, there is a significant reduction in IBS symptoms. The low FODMAP diet isn't meant to eliminate FODMAPs from your diet completely, but really to monitor intake in order to keep servings low enough that you don't experience IBS symptoms as often. So how do you follow a low FODMAP diet? Before you begin, the low FODMAP diet isn't suitable for everyone, and you shouldn't follow the diet without an IBS diagnosis. Because gastrointestinal symptoms can be common across many illnesses, it's really important to seek out a medical professional's advice and a diagnosis. I highly recommend getting the Monash FODMAP app on your phone. Since FODMAPs can be found in most foods, it's really difficult to create an exhaustive list on your own, and it's even more difficult to memorize which foods are safe and in what quantities. So that's why I really recommend downloading the Monash FODMAP app before you start this diet. It's going to save you a ton of stress in the long run. It's a trusted resource. I use it pretty much every day. There is a one-time fee, but you'll be happy to know that that money actually funds more IBS research, so it's going to a good cause. The app boasts a large database of foods that have been tested by Monash University, and you can see the types of FODMAPs contained in each food and the recommended serving sizes, and you can even keep a diary, like a food journal, of your symptoms and how you react to different FODMAPs when you're introducing them back into your diet. You can even add notes to individual food items, and you can adjust the serving sizes of different FODMAP types to more accurately reflect your specific tolerance levels after you complete the reintroduction phase. So be sure to just start out simply. Don't get too overwhelmed with the diet. In the beginning, you're really just learning, and so my advice is to start simple and to start small. It may even be helpful to seek out the guidance of a nutritionist who specializes in IBS, who has gone through this with other patients, to kind of help guide you through the low FODMAP diet. But whichever path you choose, just know that you will not be able to perfectly follow this diet at all times. It's not the point either. You're gonna slip up, you're gonna eat something that's not low FODMAP. I mean, that's totally okay. It's all part of the process. I think we've all done it. So there are actually 3 phases of this diet. Phase 1 of the low FODMAP diet is the elimination phase. And in the elimination phase, you'll need to eat strictly low FODMAP for about 2 to 6 weeks, pretty much until your symptoms subside. And I get it, although you're starting to feel much better eating this strict low FODMAP diet, it's really not sustainable and it's really not recommended. So the point of the low FODMAP diet is to eventually end up with a modified FODMAP diet. So this leads us to the next phase, the reintroduction phase. In phase 2 of the low FODMAP diet, you'll pick a food from each of the FODMAP categories. So let's outline some of the different types of FODMAP groups with examples of foods that contain these types of FODMAPs. We talked about this in a little bit more detail in our last video. So there's lactose like milk and yogurt, mannitol found in celery and sweet potato, fructose in things like honey and mango, sorbitol in blackberries and peaches, fructose and sorbitol found in red apples and cherries, GOS in almonds, green peas, fructans, grains, white bread, vegetables and fruits like Brussels sprouts and grapefruit, garlic, onion. There's even fructan in GOS and cashews and red kidney beans. So I get it, it sounds totally overwhelming, but you're just gonna pick one food that you wish you could eat again, and over the course of 3 days, you'll test one FODMAP group, increasing your serving size each day. And this will actually help you determine what foods can be safely reintroduced back into your regular diet. I always would refer back to the Monash FODMAP app for serving suggestions when you're testing, and it'll lead you through that phase. And you may trigger symptoms during the reintroduction phase. I mean, that's the point. You need to find your tolerance level for each type of FODMAP. So phase 3 is personalization. This is the last step in the low FODMAP diet, and it's meant to permanently reintroduce the FODMAP groups that you tolerated well during the reintroduction phase back into your regular diet. And don't forget, take some time to celebrate your accomplishment, because I know just as well as you that it wasn't easy. And I just want to add one more note about retesting. So your FODMAP tolerance can actually change over time. So foods that you might not be able to tolerate now may be tolerated in the future. So it's really important to retest foods and serving sizes again in a few months. Thanks for watching our series about IBS and the low FODMAP diet. Check out our other videos where we cover things like low FODMAP recipes, product recommendations, and what it's like living with IBS. And don't forget to like and subscribe.